Hello, people in YouTube land. This is Dr. Annette Feravich with the classroom. More specifically, we are here in the philosophical classroom. And we are talking, should I actually change the title is what I should have done. Did I upload that? I did. Woo, I got the video. I do. I should have renamed the title. We are talking about nationalism, right? But we have other fancier names for it, like essentialism and entitativity, where we're talking about just sort of different aspects, how easily we form groups, and then how easily we characterize those groups, right? But today, as I have been saying and promising, and, the powers that be, as, I sure do bow down to the powers that be, help me find quite a few videos today that just are going to make this exactly what I want it to be, today's class anyway. It usually is what I like it to be, but I do like to entertain you with some different forms of media besides me just talking all the time. I think that there are important things that I have to say theoretically, because I think that I'm putting these together in this way for the first time. I do. I'm looking over here at this, but the powers that be found all these videos for me, and I've got them. I mean, some really good videos. So let's get started. All right. I don't, this needs almost no introduction, but I'll give it one. I want you to pay attention again. I keep saying that people are forming narratives, and we have to be paying attention to how these narratives are being formed. So we have to be paying attention to how they're feeding us information, and then we have to learn to dissect the information. So that's the introduction. That's really what I want you to do, is think about how you dissecting the information here. I've noticed this was one example of a video that was on Jane Mansfield, and there's no way that they could have had that video of her. So, and I recognized people that were in there, right? So I recognize actors that were in that video that should not have been in that video. So all these flags are going up. You're telling me it's a documentary. You could have done the same thing and not lied and said it was a documentary. That's the thing. And I think Netflix is doing the same thing. I don't know that HBO is, but we need to be able to trust the word of a documentary. A documentary, I have documents that support this, and if I knowingly call it a documentary when I don't have support for it, well, that's why we have this place that we're in right now. And that's really why I'm doing what I'm doing here, is because we cannot in any way, shape, or form hand out misinformation. That's our word. If we do, our name should be on it. It should be stamped on it over and over and over and over and over again. And we can look at that person and say, that person's an idiot because they espouse misinformation and they don't care about it, right? We can get things wrong. All of us get things wrong. All of us get things wrong. In fact, I encourage you to put the things wrong down in the comments that I get, so that all of us, this could be like I've said this, no, I didn't say it yesterday because we weren't here yesterday, is it can be like a sort of unique Wikipedia for education, right? So you can put your comments and correct me, because I am not perfect on this. And there are certainly many things that I say that I have knowledge and background to say, but at that moment feel inspired to say for your sake. And I have 100% of the facts, like the details I would get wrong. I might get wrong. So that's what you guys are for, right? That's what you guys are for. And so we're going to try and do that, some corrections. But I can't use the word corrections. I'm not going to use that word because somebody else has that word who I admire, but that's where I got the idea from. Seth Meyer, correction. So we're going to have to call it something else, right? We're going to have to call it, I don't even know. Somebody else is better at that than I am. Crew, think of a name for my corrections, but it can't be corrections. Okay. So let's watch this video. I could have, had that drink while you were watching the video.
I have actually been a customer of BetterHelp for a little over 2 years now, and I was able to get matched up with a therapist in like
Between 1949 and 1954, social psychologist Musafar Sharif and Carolyn Wood Sharif collaborated with graduate students to hold a series of experiments to test one of Dr. Sharif's ideas, known as realistic conflict theory. This having to do with intergroup conflict, stereotypes, and prejudices. The most famous and significant of his experiments took place in 1954 at Robbers Cave State Park in Oklahoma. Sharif's main idea was that conflict arises between groups when they're competing for limited resources. This hypothesis had important implications as the Second World War had recently ended. The experiments involved 22 children between the ages of 11.
Now, I just want to break that up just a little bit. First of all, I find that background chanting very annoying. Not only do I find it very annoying, but I also find it indicative. Indicative here means that it indicates a hypnotic pattern. And this is another thing I'm seeing in the videos. I'm seeing hypnotic patterns in videos. And I don't like this because in the end, spiritual classroom is what I mean. In the end, this is a spiritual battle. So this is a battle with evil spirits. And if evil spirits are to rise out of the human condition, then there would be sort of this hypnotic kind of pattern to it, right? There would be this hypnotic kind of pattern to it. And I see that this is occurring, right? But again, I am a believer. Everyone knows I'm a believer. And the part that I believe in is that all things are for the good for those who love God and are called to his plan. So watch those hypnotic undertones. I've seen it in my art videos that I'm watching, same kind of thing. I likely believe that that's part of the editing that they're doing with my video is to create this kind of hypnotic pattern, right? So I suppose sometimes it might be better to watch the live videos, but I'm not sure what they're doing with the videos. I don't know, but all I'm saying is you have to be aware, and that's the reason why I'm interrupting this. So I'll likely interrupt it again so that we don't have this consistent hypnotic pattern with that chanting. I don't like that chanting, right? And it makes me have a feeling about the video then, right? So here I am. But the biggest thing about this video for me, so Musaf Sharif, Musaf Sharif. And again, names are making a big deal to me, like Musaf Sharif. But the other idea about this to me is that this video was made, the study was done after World War II, when many of these studies were being done in a way that I think we're trying to get people to think in a certain way about Nazi Germany. Okay, well, it'd be nice if you told us that you wanted us, that you're doing this. And they're doing the same thing with China right now as well, right? If China comes in and takes over the United States, or as somebody said 30 years ago to me, they already have, who would be in the know? Well, then maybe now is the time that they're going to reveal this. It is going to be revealed amongst all of us, right? Who won this battle? And I already know. We already know who won. We are the great hope. We are the great hope. We already know who won. So this is interesting Don't let it get your panties in a bunch. We already know. We already know. And God's not running around going, "Oh my gosh, what is Andrew going to do? I don't even know what Andrew's going to do. Look, we better look out. What is he going to do?" No, no. God already knows what's going on. He has a plan for you, and he has a plan for all of his children who are working hard to be in his image and likeness. Philosophy has got to cross over with spirituality. There is no other reason that we philosophize except to find our maker. It's it. It's it, folks. That's why we philosophize. To find our maker. Okay, so don't be such a disbeliever that there are these wicked forces in these videos. It doesn't mean, again, that God's not working for good. That art video, I know that there was hypnotic stuff that was being put in that video. I know there was. And other videos as well. What the heck, all of a sudden you start seeing this? Or that it speeds up and it slows down. It speeds up and it slows down. It's trying to make you believe something. You know what you do? Take your face off the screen and see if that speeding up or slowing down is happening in reality. And if it is, get off the drugs you're on. That's all you got to do. Honest to God, you don't think they're trying to mix up the world with drugs? They figured that we would all fall for it by now with illegal drugs. We'd get our young men all screwed up. Those were the ones addicted. We get them addicted. They're not going to make the families anymore. But it didn't work out. So what did they have to do? They had to get involved in the pharmaceutical industry and find a way to make drugs legal for us, right? Legal in a way that will get us addicted exactly. And what? And what? Give up the great hope. Learn helplessness. That's exactly what they wanted to do with us, right? And then what? And now they are in the phase of, we're not so bad. It's not so bad. It's okay to follow a leader. It is. Look it, you already want to follow a leader anyway. And he'll be your leader. Oh, what? What'd she just say? What did she just say? What did she just say about nationalism? Of course he'll be your leader. Of course he'll be your leader. Look at him, right? With all the lifting that's going on over here to make sure his eyes don't look like what? 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 And who's he enticing? What? Look at it. Holy shit. I'm so happy that we are on places that we could actually, exclaim what needs to be exclaimed sometimes. Back to Robber's Cave. Oh, you know what it's going to do? It reloads. So I'm going to move it forward though. All right. So we're going to move it forward so we don't have to get to hypnotic whatever. But every time I'm going to turn that off so it's not reloading like that any longer.
Where does the poop go? Really, if someone's backed up and constipated for 2-3 days or even a week, where does it all go? And
okay, you don't think that's purposeful? Because I do. Those are those gremlin spirits. It gotta be. Who else would put a poop commercial in there right there?
Between 1949 and 1954, social psychologist Nucifar Sheriff and Carolyn Wood Sheriff collaborated with graduate students to hold a series of experiments to test one of Dr. Sheriff's ideas, known as realistic conflict theory. This having to do with intergroup conflict, stereotypes, and prejudices. The most famous and significant of his experiments took place in 1954 at Robbers Cave State Park in Oklahoma. Sheriff's main idea was that conflict arises between groups when they're competing for limited resources. This hypothesis had important implications as the Second World War had recently ended. The experiments involved 22 children between the ages of 11 and 12. None of them knew each other previously, and all came from similar backgrounds: middle class, white, and Protestant.
Middle class,
The experiment had three
white,
stages.
Protestant. Okay, I want you to pay attention to some of these little details that are in here, because I keep exclaiming that this whole thing that's going on in our current day media is skewing what we know historically to get us to believe something that really is not history. And so I'm beginning to identify, and I hope that you begin to identify where we can see, read between the lines, where we can read between the lines, where we see this misinformation or clarity, right? We can have misinformation, we can have clarity, all right? So I happen to not care for what I've been seeing on these YouTube videos with this, what I find to be this hypnotic chanting thing, or what I also see to be what looks like psychedelic play in front of my face. If they keep your face in front of the screen all the time and they do that psychedelic play, then you begin to question whether or not that's happening in your own mind or if it's really happening. Again, what I said is take your eyeballs off of the screen and look around you. If it's still happening, get off the drugs that you're on, and those drugs may be legal drugs. This is what they've been doing for a very long time. It isn't anything new. This isn't anything new, right? Inner city black people know that there was available alcohol on every street corner, and also churches everywhere available to get them to buy into this kind of hypnotic kind of thinking, right? We see it now with the white supremacists, the white supremacy movement. We see the same thing. Here is this hypnotic movement that's going on, but opportunities to also read between the lines. Okay, I identify this video as having hypnotic music. Well, excuse me just a minute. I got something in my whatever, and I
Here the groups took names, the Eagles and the Rattlers, and developed their own cultures and cultural norms. The next stage was the competition stage, lasting 4 to 6 days. In this stage, there was to be friction between the groups, and as such, a series of competitions were arranged. These competitions included...
Okay, dear Jesus God Almighty, I just realized that I have been speaking for I don't even know how long I have been speaking for, and you did not hear a word I said. I cannot even believe that. And it was so profound that I just can't even believe it. But I promise you it's someplace, but you're not going to get it for a while. Holy smokes. Oh my gosh. It doesn't even matter. I'm going to say it again, and I am truly going to say it again. When did we start this? We started this at 2 o'clock. I'm going to truly say it again. Oh, dear Jesus, God in heaven. I just checked out the volume to see if it was off, and it was off. That was my fault. That was nobody else's fault. That was my fault. But I can't even believe how long I've been talking with that volume off. The ridiculousness of it. I'm sorry. And even on my recording, the volume is going to be off. So I am going to repeat it, and you're going to get a shortened version, which is not nearly as good as the original is going to be. But I'm going to still say it. So what I'm telling you, I'm going to summarize this for you, okay? And the summary is this. That this is a battle between good and evil. I am very specifically saying that there is a battle here between communist China and the United States. Oh my gosh, I can't even believe all the things that I said. And the volume was off. I'm about ready to be sick. Oh my dear Lord God in heaven, I am just about ready to lose it right now. There was so much, but it's okay. I'm going to say it again. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I just cannot. I'm just taking a breath for just a minute. I just have to take a breath. I absolutely have to take a breath for just a minute. Holy shit. You can't even believe what I said. All the things I said about communist China and about Japan, who were kamikazes, who were, oh dear Jesus God, if I start saying it just like that, I'm going to sound like a nut. Because I will not be able to build the case again. Holy moly. I need a minute. I need a minute. Watch the rest of the video. In fact, we're going to start the video over. Let me say this. Oh, dear Jesus, God in heaven. I can't leave you with that video without giving you the preface of things to watch out for, like that outfit that guy has on. I have said, Jesus, God in heaven. I can't believe my volume was off. There was just such a... I feel like anything I'm going to say is going to sound, because there was it was poetic what I was oh! I haven't done that in a long time, but I spoke for a very, very long time with that volume off. I cannot even believe it. So, I need a minute is what I need. And I can't even play that video for you. So I'm going to play the Heineken video for you. I played it before for a spiritual classroom. I need a minute, so I'm going to play it for you again. Woo! That was it. This is the best way I can get out of this. I will be back in just a minute after I collect myself. Then we're going to watch the other video and we'll see.
I would describe my political views as the new right.
I say that I'm left.
Feminism today is man-hating.
I would describe myself as a feminist, 100%.
I don't believe that climate change exists.
We're not taking enough action on climate change.
I think it's about time these people got off the high horse and started looking for credible problems that actually exist.
It's absolutely critical that trans people have their own voice.
That's not right. You can't, you're a man, be a man, or you're a female, be a female.
Women do need to remember that we need you to have our children.
Could I be friends with someone that says a woman's place is in the home?
Right, okay, well, I'm an expert at flat packs. If you have any trouble, just watch me.
So it looks like I've got your instructions here.
I think so.
Let me help you.
It's just that bit there.
Describe what it is like to be you in 5 adjectives.
Okay, frustrating.
Dedicated.
Opinionated.
Lucky.
Ambitious.
Offensive.
Solemn. I have ups and downs.
Strong.
I want to say attacked. Misunderstood.
Name 3 things you and I have in common.
We're both male, we're both confident, and we're both loudly spoken.
We know each other better than people who've known each other for 10 minutes should.
You seem quite ambitious and positive, and you got this really got a glow. Do you know what I'm saying? Your aura's pretty cool.
I'm sensing, are you former military or something?
People have said that, but there is no history. So are you then ex-military?
Yeah.
If you're ex-military, I'm very proud of you already.
Well,
So
I grew up in a bit of a rough state. I've experienced homelessness. I've known what it's like to have absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm definitely most grateful just for life.
We've only just met, but I think you're the sort of person that would listen to me and we'd have a discussion rather than argue.
Yeah, you could hang out with, man.
let's go. My chance.
Goodness sake.
You're right, mate.
Fitter than I look.
Perfect.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So basically, I think we just built a bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Here you are. Each take a bottle and place it on its corresponding markings on the bar.
Attention, please now stand to watch a short film.
Feminism today is definitely an excuse for misandry, man-hating.
If somebody said to me that climate change is destroying the world, then I'd say that is total piffle.
So transgender, it is very odd. We're not set up to understand or see things like that.
I am a daughter. A wife. I am transgender.
I feel like the battle for feminism definitely isn't done. The fight is never going to be over, if I'm honest with you.
You now have a choice. You may go, or you can stay and discuss your differences over a beer.
I'm only joking.
You had me for a second then.
Well, I'm having a drink.
I'm having a drink.
Yeah.
I want to discuss.
Beer.
Yeah, beer and discuss.
Cheers.
At the end of the day, mate,
About
I've enjoyed
reaching out to
working with
people,
you.
yeah. And even if you wanted to convince people about your point, the productive thing to do would be to sit down and have a
It's
beer.
engage.
I've been brought up in a way where everything's black and white, but life isn't black and white.
Yeah, I'm just me.
Yeah.
Smash the patriarchy.
I'll give you my mobile number, you give me yours, and we'll keep in touch. I'd have to tell my girlfriend that I'll be texting another girl. She might be a bit upset with that, but I'll have to get round that.
I'll have to tell my girl.
She'll have to lump it.
Okay, well, I have not recovered yet from that mistake that I made. I have actually not recovered. I am sitting here as I'm watching that video, and I am just like, I don't know. I am speechless. I am speechless. Just speechless. And I'm looking at the time here, and I still have 15 minutes. So as 15 minutes, I think what I'm going to do is I am going to try and repeat what I said while the volume was off. I sat here and I thought about it. I thought, is this a sign? Because what I said was really, it was inspired, right? I didn't plan to say what I said, not in the least. Anything that I said while the volume was just off, had not planned. So you saw the picture where I stopped the video is what you saw. That entire time I was speaking. And I didn't plan what I said, but what I said was really, really, really controversial. And I didn't plan what I said. And so I'm sitting here thinking, you have an opportunity to not say it, right? Maybe it was, my spiritual connections that are worried that I'm saying this as I'm, maybe it's not for me to say, right? I don't know. And maybe that's the reason why the powers that be, because I believe in the powers that be, right, are indicating, whoa, Annette, you said way too much. And I, but I was so disappointed it wasn't said. And so I feel like that was like an opportunity to say, are you sure you want to say it? And the answer is yes. I'm sure I want to say it. So I'm going to say it. What I said. I'm going to try and say it. You know how that goes though, right? You write something and all of a sudden you lose the whole thing and you have to rewrite it, and it's not nearly as eloquent as you said it the first time, especially if you liked it. You're like, oh yes, that was just what just happened. I was like, I cannot believe the flow of words and the way that I'm expressing this idea exactly in the kind of softness that I want to express it, along with the hardness that needs to be there as well. And then I realized not one single word was being heard. So I'm going to say it again, and I'm going to start the way that I started before, with the video. So I'm very happy that I have this video, as I said before, and I got to a point and then I stopped the video. I said to you about the chanting and how I didn't like that chanting, right? So you'll probably hear the chanting again, and then I'm going to stop the video and we're going to see if we can't just do a rewind. And I need to I am still flabbergasted that I just did that. I am flabbergasted that I just did that. And I'm just deciding if I'm going to get it back or not. And if I don't get it back, then it likely is I'm not supposed to get it back. And there's a part of me that wants it back, but there's a big part of me that's saying I'm not supposed to have it back. So there you have it. So we've got this sort of hypnotic music going on, and what they're doing is they're showing you the paper that was written by Musaf Sharif is his name. Oh dear gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm still in the same place with this. And the reason why I'm in the same place with this is because I'm not saying it as eloquently. And when you don't say this, what I'm saying as eloquently as I was saying it just a few minutes ago, it sounds so artificial, right? It doesn't sound like it's sincere. And when it doesn't sound like sincere and you're saying these things, it just comes across like, again, like I said, craziness. It just sounds like it's crazy. So I keep trying to get the momentum of the emotion that I had there without having going, I don't know why I don't want to just go back to the doggone beginning. Just figure it out and go back to the beginning, right? See, the hypnotic part of that, that's what I'm going to do.
Between 1949 and 1954, social psychologist Musafar Sharif and Carolyn Wood Sharif collaborated with graduate students to hold a series of experiments to test one of Dr. Sharif's ideas, known as realistic conflict theory. This having to do with intergroup conflict, stereotypes, and prejudices. The most famous and significant of his experiments took place in 1954 at Robbers Cave State Park in Oklahoma. Sheriff's main idea was that conflict arises between groups when they're competing for limited resources. This hypothesis had important implications as the Second World War had recently ended.
I didn't realize that I still had that picture of me up there. I thought that was full screen again. Sorry about that. I'm rubbing the back of my neck over there because it's hurting me. And we have 8 minutes left on this. The thing that I was saying, first of all, that all right, I'm going to start with the idea over here of, and maybe you can read that, whatever, of Jane Mansfield. The thing that I have noticed and have been noticing in present day, what's going on today, is that when I'm watching, for example, some of these YouTube videos, I realize, and I think I started saying this, but I don't know where it cut off, so maybe you heard this already, that I am seeing like the same kinds of things. I'm watching my art videos and I'm hearing this, for example, I said my art videos before, if you're looking for them there, and his name is even, Vladimir is his name, on the perspective is what it is, and there is this on the one with Van Gogh, there is the same kind of hypnotic music going on, but also occasionally, not necessarily in this video, but other videos that I've been noticing, I see these flashes of colorful lights. This is what I've been saying. So I see this trend in our video, and I also have talked to people about this. As I said, I don't know where it got cut off, but 30 years ago, somebody said to me that I trust very much, said that China already owns the United States. What I said, and I don't know when it was, is that there really is, to me, really what's going on is that there really is this great experiment. And where do we get even some of this language from? Well, some of this language, I believe, is coming from the idea that we are being programmed to see this I said it so eloquently before, and I'm just not going to get it back again. I'm just not going to get it back again. And I apologize for that. I'm going to come back on Tuesday, and we're going to see if something else is different here. Because I actually really did say a lot. I said a lot. I said a lot about communism. I said a lot about, changing our drug system. It just isn't the great experiment was being won by the believers, and the non-believers are amping this up. But see, just saying that sounds almost like it's, it's too confusing. It's too confusing. And I can't restate it. I'm having a lot of difficulty restating it. So I can't do that. I'm trying to give you a reason why I can't restate it and even play that part of the video right now. And the reason why is because to shoot little pieces of it to try and pull it together, like I was just saying with the volume off, is not going to do me justice by any means. And it's not going to do you justice either. So I'm going to have to pack it in. But I'll figure out a way. I know right now that if I were supposed to have the words, I would have the words. I know that. So we'll see if I have the words on Tuesday or not, right? I also believe that somebody does have those words, and so it's you know, it's history. It's almost 3:00, and I will be back in 15 minutes for our new book in the reading room. We are starting a new book, which is called The Magnificent Moneymaker. I am really sorry for that. I'm really sorry about that. But because what I was saying was so sensitive, I cannot do the injustice of repeating it in such a haphazard kind of way. That's it. That's it. Thanks. I don't want to end up in, Siberia. I don't want to end up in Siberia.